Before Google became the all-powerful king of the internet, finding anything online was chaotic. The internet was a wild frontier, a digital battlefield filled with competing search engines, directories, and communities all vying for attention. Some rose to fame, others fell into obscurity, and a few paved the way for the Google we know today. But how did it all start? And who really ruled the pre-Google internet? Let's dive in. The dawn of the internet, 1960s to 1980s. The story begins long before anyone had a web browser or typed www into an address bar. In the 1960s, the internet as we know it didn't exist. What existed was ARPANET, a project funded by the US Department of Defense. The goal was simple: connect computers at different universities and research labs so they could share information instantly. At the time, this was revolutionary. Computers were massive, room-sized machines, and networking them was cutting-edge science fiction come to life. By the 1970s, ARPANET had connected a handful of institutions, allowing scientists and researchers to send messages electronically instead of relying on the postal system. This period also saw the birth of email, one of the first applications that made people notice the potential of connected computers. Fast forward to the 1980s, and things began to accelerate. Universities, government labs, and tech companies started experimenting with ways to organize and retrieve data. But there was a problem. The internet was growing fast, and finding information was like searching for a needle in an infinitely expanding haystack. Enter the first generation of search tools, early search tools and directories. Before Google, if you wanted to find information online, you had a few options: directories, primitive search engines, and community lists. Archie, created in 1990, is often called the first search engine. It didn't index the web because the World Wide Web wasn't widely used yet. Instead, it indexed FTP archives, basically files stored on servers, so users could find programs and documents. It was basic, but it worked, and it was the first taste of what a digital search tool could be. Veronica and Jughead, emerging in 1991 and 1992, indexed Gopher sites, another type of early internet content system. They let users search through menus of text-based files across the network. Imagine a massive digital library where everything was organized by folders and menus instead of clickable links. Yahoo started as a curated directory in 1994. Unlike Archie or Veronica, which were more like automated indexes, Yahoo relied on humans to categorize websites into topics like arts, science, and sports. It was slow and labor-intensive, but it gave people their first real way to navigate the growing web. Lycos, AltaVista, and Excite arrived in the mid-1990s as the first true search engines. They used algorithms to index web pages and return results based on keywords. AltaVista, in particular, was revolutionary because it could index millions of pages and returned results faster than any human-curated directory could. Lycos and Excite each tried to become the front page of the internet. This was the battlefield of the pre-Google internet. Yahoo was the organized general, cataloging the chaos. AltaVista was the lightning-fast warrior, striking through millions of pages in seconds. Lycos was a charismatic contender, while Excite tried to charm users with extra features and fun search tricks. And yet, despite these tools, searching online was still messy, slow, and frustrating. The war of the search engines. By the mid-1990s, the internet was booming. Businesses, schools, and home users were all connecting. Websites popped up overnight, and suddenly the curated directories couldn't keep up. People wanted speed, relevance, and ease of use. This was the perfect storm for a new kind of search engine, and the battlefield grew fiercer. AltaVista dominated for a while. It was fast, powerful, and able to index huge amounts of data. People loved it, but it had flaws. The results weren't always relevant, and its interface was cluttered with ads and banners. Lycos tried to compete by offering entertainment content alongside search, but it lacked the speed and precision to keep users loyal. Excite also had a loyal following, but struggled with scalability. Meanwhile, Yahoo was still the directory king. It wasn't fast, but it was organized. People trusted it for reliability. You could browse categories and find websites without knowing exactly what you were looking for. In many ways, Yahoo was like the encyclopedia of the early web, authoritative but slow. Then came InfoSeek, WebCrawler, and Magellan, each trying to solve the same problem: how to find information fast and efficiently. Some focused on raw power, others on usability, but all of them faced the same challenge. The web was growing faster than any search tool could keep up with, and users were starting to crave simplicity. The arrival of Google, 1998. It's impossible to talk about pre-Google internet history without acknowledging the turning point in 1998. Larry Page and Sergey Brin, two Stanford students, launched Google with a new idea called PageRank. Instead of just counting keywords on a page, PageRank analyzed links between pages to determine authority and relevance. Suddenly, you could type a question into a search box and get results that actually made sense. No clutter, no useless pages, no random directories. Google wasn't the first search engine, but it solved the problems that all the previous ones struggled with. AltaVista was fast but messy. Yahoo was organized but slow. Lycos and Excite were flashy but inconsistent. Google was fast, accurate, and simple, a combination that crushed the competition. Within a few years, Google became the default search engine for millions. AltaVista faded into obscurity. Lycos, Excite, and InfoSeek either rebranded or disappeared. Yahoo lingered, but was eventually overshadowed. The battlefield had one clear victor. Lessons from the pre-Google Internet. Studying the Internet before Google teaches us a lot about innovation, competition, and user behavior. Speed isn't everything. AltaVista was fast, but it didn't understand relevance. Users need both. Organization matters, but it can't scale. Yahoo's human-curated directories were reliable, but couldn't handle exponential growth. Simplicity wins. Google's clean interface and accurate results proved that users don't want complexity, they want answers. Innovation disrupts the battlefield. Every old search engine had its moment, but one new idea can change the game completely. Fun facts from the pre-Google era. Some search engines had crazy features like web rings, meta search options, and customizable skins. Dial-up internet made searching a slow, sometimes painful experience. Waiting for pages to load taught patience in a way no modern user can imagine. Even early tech companies didn't fully realize how dominant search engines would become. Most thought portals like Yahoo or AOL would last forever. Conclusion. The Internet before Google was a battlefield of ideas, innovation, and rivalry. It was messy, exciting, and unpredictable. There were kings and challengers, some lasting only briefly, others leaving a legacy in unexpected ways. AltaVista, Lycos, Excite, and Yahoo each played their part in shaping the internet, but none could survive the new rules set by Google. Today, we take for granted that we can find almost anything in seconds. But the truth is that simplicity is built on decades of battles fought on a chaotic early internet. The wars were fought with code, algorithms, and user experience, and the victors didn't just win, they changed the world. So the next time you type a search into Google, remember, there was a time when the web was wild, confusing, and competitive, a true digital battlefield where only the cleverest tools survived. The pre-Google internet wasn't just history, it was the training ground for the digital world we live in today. Hey, if you enjoyed this trip through the pre-Google internet, don't forget to like and subscribe for more history battles and stories.